Welcome to the September 24th, 2019 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Marsh, please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Yeah.
Mrs. Russell? Here. Mayor Cole?
Here. Next item on the agenda is presentations, and we have an anti-bullying presentation this evening for the 5 public schools that we have here in Pequannock. Council, if you want to join me.
Left or right? Left.
Thank you. So we have one for each school. I'm not going to read them all. I'm not going to read every one. We're going to read one. Each school's name is in where I'm going to say Pequannock High School, so you guys can display it when you leave here. And the reason we did it early is because we wanted you to have it the entire month of October, which is anti-bullying. So. All right, so it says, whereas bullying is a physical, verbal, sexual, or emotional harm or intimidation intentionally directed at a person or group of people. And whereas bullying occurs in neighborhoods, playgrounds, schools, and through technology such as the internet and cell phones. And whereas various researchers have concluded that bullying is the most common form of violence affecting millions of American children and adolescents annually. And whereas thousands of children and adolescents are affected by bullying, I read that already. And whereas targets of bullying are more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems, and students who repeatedly bully often fear such activities as riding on the bus, going to school, attending community activities, and whereas children who are bullied are at greater risk of engaging in more serious violent behaviors, and whereas the children who witness bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. Now, therefore, on behalf of Pequannock Township residents, Mayor David Cole, members of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim October 7, 2019 as Bullying Prevention Day and encourage everyone to wear blue shirts to signify awareness of all forms of bullying, and be it further proclaimed that October 2019, designated as Bullying Prevention Month in the Township of Pequannock, and schools, students, parents, recreation programs, religious institutions, community organizations are encouraged to participate in a variety of bullying awareness and prevention activities throughout the month of October.
Take a breath.
So, thank you guys. PV School, Gerace, North Boulevard, Hillview.
I'll take it.
You're going to take that. We'd also, like to congratulate Mike. Mike Fortis became the superintendent. He was the principal at Hillview School, and was a great choice by the Board of Ed. Great choice by promoting Rich Hazler, that was the principal at PV School, the middle school, to the high school. So the Board of Ed made some great choices over the summer, and the council definitely supports all of those choices that they made. So Rumor has it are they interviewing for a principal for Hillview?
Correct.
And a vice principal, or?
Principal for PV, which could turn into a vice principal opening. You never know.
We hope that's the case. So, congratulations. Council, you guys have anything that you want to say for anti-bullying or whatever?
Hey, congratulations, and you've got big shoes to fill, so it's gonna be a hard one for both of you guys.
First off, I was just going to say on the anti-bullying thing, I know you guys all run your schools great, and I just hope you encourage all the, kids to get really involved, and, I think it's a great program, and that awareness is really important. And I personally wanted to, I didn't get to talk to each one of you, I wanted to say congratulations, and congratulations to everybody for everything that you're doing with the schools.
Thank you. This is special for our kids. That not only do they get to experience the things that we do with their families and with the teachers at our school level, but it's really important for them to know that the local community and town council is behind them as well. It makes them really feel special when they're working to treat others with kindness, knowing that that's the model that you're setting for everybody for us. Thank you.
One of the things we have going is actually the end of the Week of Respect week is October 7th through 11th. The 11th is homecoming at the high school, and so what we're going to do this year is anybody that comes in that's an alumni, we are going to recognize them. So we're hoping that alumni will come back and celebrate the wonderful things we have in this community. We're going to have them write their name on a little banner when they walk in with their name and the year they graduated, and throughout the game we're going to give shout-outs to them and thank them for being a part of the community and wanting to come back and give back. And Week of Respect is not just about respecting yourself and respecting your classmates. It's about respecting the people that made this community great. And that's the alumni and everyone else that lives here. And so at the high school, that's something that we're looking to do that's new this year. And we're hoping that will attract a lot of people to come back to the game. And really, the spirit has been tremendous of the 3 home games that we've had so far.
Are you going to sing Sweet Caroline?
And I may even swing. I may even sing. But there's a lot of things that we have going on. But October 7th, if you could wear a blue shirt, that's World Bullying Prevention Day, and so we're really looking to spread that around the town. So, thank you.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Anything? No, we're good? Sure, go ahead, Lou.
I think it's a great thing that the Board of Ed and the council and the township all respect all of you gentlemen, because you do a tremendous job with the schools in this town and running up this town. It's absolutely amazing. And I had a great experience today when I went to the high school and had to go through Checkpoint Charlie to get in there. And I got to tell you, it's a welcome thing. I mean, it's nice to see that everybody's concerned about security, and you've got a good situation going over there. And it's better than it was before, and it's great. And I really like the school and everybody else that's doing their job. Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's the world we live in today, so.
How does somebody take pictures since we're all here?
We gotta squeeze in.
Can you figure that camera out? Is that podium in the way?
Inside, please.
Although
You
it's
wanna move this way? Everybody move this way.
Is this better?
Well, that's good, yeah.
All right, you guys gotta squeeze in.
No luggage now. I'll take two just in case.
So if you get what I want, this line also?
Sir.
That's a tweetable photo right there. Oh, yeah.
Let's go off.
They went to sleep.
You broke your phone.
Okay, check his text.
Talking to you.
I didn't do it.
I wasn't. That was good.
You're the queen.
Thank you very much.
You said something about prom
care.
queens. I said I wasn't a prom queen, I was a nerd. Jesus.
Nothing wrong there.
How's that snack stand?
Do we have a time frame?
Thank you very much, everybody.
We have a lot of promises each board. Okay, this is great. Fantastic.
Thank you, it's on time.
You guys all know that group?
Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it. That's fantastic.
I'm in there 100 times a year.
But we should say, the community's right there with us.
Thank you.
Kids feel safe.
Very much. I see him every day. I see him every day.
The kids coming out
Maybe it's some good choices. Who is it?
I was just information about the apartment too. We're really excited. Just one more
Probably
great commitment.
just like I did. I was friendly with everybody and everybody knew me.
DPW.
I will.
Good night,
Wasn't- Yeah.
Did you ever think you were
Congratulations,
town
Mike.
council?
Thank you again. Have a great day.
No. Not really.
No time.
Lou, thank you for everything you said. That was so kind.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is reports from volunteers. Are there any volunteers serving our community that would like to say something? Stacy?
Hi, Stacy Webb for the Shade Tree Commission Committee. We had our meeting last night, and we were curious where we stand on the registration for the tree workers, the vendors that service our residents, how we were doing with that ordinance.
I think
When was that presented?
that was presented last year.
Yeah.
I think the discussion was, well, who's going to monitor it?
Yeah, there was.
Is it going to be DPW? Is it going to be
Right.
Carol? Last night, one of the members of the DPW volunteered the DPW, but then said, well, I have to check with my bosses.
Yes.
I'll circle back with staff and get an answer and communicate back to council.
Okay, great.
We would like to have an ordinance that regulates the people who come in here and cut trees and so forth, et cetera.
Right, so that
They have to
the
be
residents
registered.
know that they're registered, through the town as...
As state certified.
Right, state certified as a LTE or a LTCO.
Eliminating people that are coming through doing terrible things. and
Right.
Doing it dangerously.
That's
Sure.
Somebody
right.
who says, I'll do it for $200 cash.
Right. Right, so protects our residents.
Yep.
And that was mostly what we discussed. Summer was a slow season for us.
Thank you.
Trees were in bloom.
Next, Lou?
Dwight Bear, I have my Historic Commission, Historic hat, Society hat on, so I just wanted to say we had a great week, 2 weeks. The pathways that came through, we had about 150 people that passed through that we, from all different townships, which was great. We had a good turnout at the Martin Berry House. We had a good turnout at the Hoedown, and we had a great turnout at the train station. We had about 28 people go through the train station, which was nice. And it was very nice to see that. And we're just looking forward to the next event that we'll have. But it was a very good 3 weeks, I should say, as it turned out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank?
Frank Spizzeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue, Open Space. We had our meeting last week, and actually the hold-down was fairly decent, a little less than last year. But in case you're interested, we still have Frisbees left over for next year, so we won't have to buy anymore.
How many years is that?
That'll be 3 years. Not too bad. The meeting went very well. A couple of questions we had were in regards to the master plan report, when that was going to be coming out, so that we could peruse that. Sometime in September, I thought Eric said. So do we know?
Understanding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, once the draft is released, it'll be initially reviewed as a confidential draft, and then a draft, once that's been looked at by the steering committee, will be posted on the township's website.
So will the committees get a copy of it to peruse?
Posted on the township's website. The steering committee reviews it, not the individual committees
Oh,
involved.
okay. There was something else that we had, but I think Ryan should do that in private if he read the email in regards to a piece of property that we were concerned about. So Ryan can fill you in because it was on the email. I won't put that in public. But anyway, that was all my report.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Any other? No. Next on the agenda is public comment. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period of public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record. Lou?
Wow. That's 3 times in a row, Lou.
Hello again.
Blue Ray Bear.
Blue Ray Bear, I'm sorry. Pequannock Township. This time I'm representing the American Legion in Pompton Plains. Just received an interesting notice about the sewer systems and the increase that was passed at the last council meeting, tripling the cost of the EDDY, as you call it, the equivalent dwelling unit charge. I mean, how did that happen?
So if I can just summarize it, okay with the council. The connection capacity fee is established when someone connects to the sewer system, and it's supposed to be based upon the amount of historical debt improvement that the sewer system has experienced. Hasn't been reviewed in some time. So the council took a look at it. There's a statutory calculation that determines the maximum possible fee. So that statutory calculation was done. It's roughly $6,500. So the council conceptually agreed to an increase to about $3,500, as it hasn't been increased in 20 years, which will be effective in January of 2020. So the purpose of the letter is for the people who are in a position where they could connect now and not have to pay that increase. So it was a courtesy that the council wanted disseminated, giving you a heads up so that you could pay your connection fee now and not be subject to that increased cost.
See, the thing is, we're paying our debt in payments right now.
That's for the assessment.
For the assessment, and that's taken quite a big chunk out of us.
Yes.
And to take this $3,500 is going to come back at us and really bite us hard.
Well, the purpose of the letter, Mr. Abear, is not to pay in 20. If somehow it can be managed to be paid before 2020, you can make the connection fee now and pay the $1,112 or whatever the equivalent cost would be for a commercial institution. So it wouldn't be the $3,500.
I understood that. It's just that I didn't understand how that thing jumped like that. I mean, it's just triple what it was. Wasn't this was costing you this much money before in the last 20 years?
It hadn't been increased in 20 years, and additional debt has been placed upon the utility. So similar to the conversation we just had about rates and increasing periodically as opposed to significantly, this is another instance where it hadn't been addressed in a while, and council did not want to raise it to $6,500, which legally they could. That is the maximum. Council picked the fee that was articulated, and it hasn't been put into effect yet. It still requires legislative action. As the letter says, it was conceptually agreed upon.
Right, but look, just to understand, this is really for new people connecting in the future. However, we have people who have not connected yet, and we wanted to give them fair warning that, look, if you don't hook up before 2020, you're going to get pumped into the next more expensive hookup.
Sure. No, I understood that.
Courtesy, the council said, look, we want all the residents who have not hooked up to get a letter from us before we even make this ordinance so that they know it's coming.
And I think in total, if I may, it was what, 20 or 30?
23 or 24 properties, and I believe everybody in the village has to, by ordinance or by law, connect by November.
Okay.
So,
but we notified the people.
But we notified everybody who hasn't connected, just as a courtesy to say, heads up, this is coming.
Well, we're one of the non-connectors so far because we're part of this turnpike group that just.
I believe your deadline's November.
And, we have to connect at some point. And we're not sure yet because we haven't found out where the connection's going to be at this point, whether it's going to be out on the turnpike or whether it's going to be close to by a building. So, but the connection fee still is going to be the same, so.
Provided it's paid before January 1, 2020,
yeah.
Correct.
I'm trying to talk with our people to see if we have the money to do that, but I'm working on it. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none? As previously noted, there is an additional public comment reserved for later in the meeting. Next on the agenda is Manager's Report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. There was a couple of questions regarding charges and revenues from PV Park. As articulated in my memo, revenues collected associated with PV Park and Woodland Lake memberships go to the PV Park Woodland Lake rec facility fee within the utility. Similarly, for Woodland Lake, they go against the rec utility fee Woodland Lake revenue line in the utility. But I wanted to make clear, and it explains in the memo, that regardless of where an internal posting occurs for the purpose of a review and analysis, it's a utility. So it operates just like the current fund in that the construction office may have certain revenues it brings in, but it all supports the overall operation. It doesn't go, it's not like an enterprise fund or a cost center in private industry where certain cost centers are supported by their own operations. Next item, the council has for its consideration 2 resolutions associated with the resurfacing of Hillview parking lot. The Board of Education and the Township of Pequannock jointly own that. It's owned 2/3 by the township, 1/3 by the board. There's a resolution authorizing the interlocal with the Board of Education, whereby they'll be responsible for 1/3 of the cost, as well as a resolution authorizing the purchase through the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council to have it resurfaced. The Board of Education was great to work with in terms of setting all that up, and they're going to schedule their action for October 2nd. Lastly, the Flood Resilience Officer report is enclosed. The Flood Committee met. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder for later in the meeting, but there's a status report on the 2015 grant. There are 26 total homes that are participants in the 15 grant. 22 are active, 4 have withdrawn. In the 2016 grant, there are 22 total homes, 20 are active, 2 have been unresponsive but not yet withdrawn. 2018 grant, which we recently found out we got, includes 15 total homes. That is awaiting an appropriation from Congress to fund it. And then in 2019, November 30th is the deadline. There is a applicant meeting in early October for people who are interested and have been identified as being eligible. And that application is due on November 30th. We anticipate having an application submitted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is public hearings, and there are no public hearings scheduled. Next on the agenda is ordinances for introduction, and we have no ordinances for introduction at this time. Next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2019-197, authorizing the execution of an interlocal agreement between the Township of Pequannock and the Board of Education of Pequannock Township for the resurfacing of the jointly owned Hillview School parking lot. 2019-198, authorizing the use of the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council for the Hillview School resurfacing project in the amount of $71,468.25. 2019-199, authorizing the use of the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council for the annual road resurfacing and water utility improvements project in the amount of $334,659.80. R 2019-200, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. And R 2019-201, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the September 19th, 2019 bill list and 2015 and 2016 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Okay, are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
Quick question on R 2019-197. So just to clarify, this is the parking lot that is behind Hillview School that is right next to the ball field?
Adjacent to the field, correct.
The driveway going in and the parking lot.
Oh, okay. That's all my questions.
You know the driveway I'm talking about?
Yeah, from that side road.
Yeah, that's been in disrepair for a while.
Yeah. Okay. They originally thought it was all ours, so I found out that it was a jointly owned piece.
We collectively worked through it.
Yes, and they're very appreciative that we worked through it and able to get it done this year.
Good.
Awesome.
All good projects that need to be done.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Nope.
Nope.
Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I make a motion to adopt Resolution R 2019-197 through R 2019-201.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Next on the agenda is items for discussion, and there are no items tonight for discussion. And next is reports and notices, and there's no reports and notices. Next is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Mine's short, just some of us from council went to the 10th anniversary for the Pathways to History over in Denville. That was last Friday? And that was at one of the properties over there. There was a reception at the Ayers, am I saying it right? Nuth? Is it Nuth? Anyway, the Ayers Nuth Farm in Denville. So that was a nice event. And then I had the pleasure of going on Saturday. I had to work on Sunday, but on Saturday I went to the Pathways tour and stopped in the Martin Berry House and, saw some people there. It's looking really good. They're getting ready to, do their next step of renovating. And then I went to 3 places in Boonton, so that was nice to get to see some of the historical places on the tour. And I think it's important to keep, educating people. And there was children there, so it was great. People brought their grandkids there and stuff, so they're teaching kids about the history in Morris County. So that was great. And then since Adam already went over my flood committee report, just a reminder, the homeowners meeting is October 2nd for that flood potential people to elevate. So that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Hurd.
All right, let's see. Teen Advisory Committee met last night. We're coming up with ideas to engage the kids in town a little bit more. And I will be sitting down with Mr. Portis to get some ideas from him and also engagement. Open space, Frank talked about open space, so he took care of that, and that's all I have for now.
Thank you. Councilman Phelan?
Ms. Webb talked about the shade tree and what we're trying to do. Thank you, Ms. Webb. The planning board met last Monday, last Monday, and approved a pad going into the Stop and Shop Center, which is an additional stores right by the inlet coming in off of 23 on the left-hand side of that inlet there. And I understand there's a Board of Adjustment meeting for more pads over there. So, and that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Russell.
Not much to report. The hoedown I thought it had a lot of good turnout. Frank, you didn't think you had as many people as last year? I thought it looked really crowded to me this year.
I thought it was a little light, but I wasn't there all day.
As long as the Frisbees go the distance.
I thought people started packing up a little early, but other than that, I thought it was a very enjoyable day.
That's it? All right, as Councilwoman Florence Lynch said, the historic tour was this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I had the pleasure of stopping in at the Martin Berry House on Sunday. I stopped by the train station on Sunday as well. They said that they had a great turnout. There was quite a few people there when I was there. So, they said it was a great turnout. So I'm glad that they had good weather for that. As Councilwoman Russell said, the hoedown, I thought the hoedown was great. Quite a few people. It was nice that it was a little overcast, so I didn't get too much sun on my head. As Councilman Phelan said, Planning Board met on the 16th. That the pad looks to be an interesting project that they're going to be doing out closer to Route 23. Shred Day is October 12th at PV Park, and Fair Housing will meet tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the small conference room. That's all I have. Next on the agenda is public comment. Again, if anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized, come to the microphone, provide your name and address for the record.
Peter's just smiling.
Yes,
Come on,
he's
Peter,
saying
you gotta break the spell sometime.
Next on the agenda is...
he's got
you're going up? Okay, here we go.
So, my name is Peter Schmidt, Manor 16 Manor Avenue. hearing about the cost of the sewage system, I think people are not aware what things cost. And maybe you have different services here in the town, and I think people should know how much does it really cost. Yeah, does it really cost $3,500 to hook that up? Could be, yeah, but maybe you have other things that people should be aware where there is a mismatch what people actually pay and what the real costs are. And maybe there could be an opportunity to educate the people to say what are the services actually costing. The library, you know, my library is free, but I learned it has quite a substantial budget, you know, and people are not aware of that. So maybe there's an opportunity.
Anything good.
Okay, thank you.
And taxes are still reasonable here in Pequannock.
They are, actually, they are. And okay. Does everything have to become more expensive? Is there a law for that? Or is there a challenge to keep it even or
There's a challenge to keep it.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
I know. Okay.
Like that connection fee, that wasn't raised in 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if it had slowly been raised.
See, from a data
Can
scientist,
services become cheaper over time? I mean, maybe one can change all these sewage connections to a better machine that makes it cheaper. I'm just challenging. I have no idea. Just challenging. Yeah? Okay?
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Right, next on the agenda is minutes for approval. We have September 10th, 2019. Are there any comments on these minutes?
Nope.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from September 10th, 2019.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, next on the agenda, we do have some closed session discussion. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2019-202, authorizing the town council to meet in executive session to discuss litigation attorney-client privileges?
So moved.
I'll make that motion to
Is there-
approve
all right.
2019-202.
Is there a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, the portion of the meeting, we are in recess for closed session.